Okay, be honest. Have you ever plugged your iPhone into a Windows PC, watched iTunes painfully, slowly boot up, and just felt this immediate wave of dread? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a digital headache that has honestly plagued users for well over a decade. We're talking silent backup failures, beautiful 4K videos getting totally crushed by compression, and files that just seemingly vanish into thin air. Windows users have kind of accepted this as the invisible Apple tax, but as you'll see, a quiet rebellion is definitely brewing. To really wrap our heads around the scale of this migration, just look at this number, 10 million. Out of the 1.56 billion iPhone users around the globe, over 10 million seek out third-party management software every single year. We're not talking about a tiny niche group of hackers here. This is a massive, ongoing exit by everyday people who have simply had enough. So what exactly is driving them away? Okay, let's dive into this. It really comes down to three universal pain points you've probably experienced yourself. First off, transfers are just painfully slow, often forcing you to sync your entire device just to move like a handful of photos. Second, there's the hidden compression. You shoot a stunning 4K video, but getting that raw, uncompressed file onto your PC feels like pulling teeth. And finally, those infamous failed backups. You know, the ones that happen without any clear error messages, leaving your data totally vulnerable. Look, if you've ever blamed yourself or your computer for these failures, you can stop right now. Seriously, let yourself off the hook. This isn't user error, it's a structural limitation. You have to remember, iTunes was originally built as a digital storefront and a media player first. Smartphone management was bolted on way later as an afterthought. And unfortunately, it really shows. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide. Apple naturally designs for its own ecosystem, right? On a Mac, the integration is completely seamless. It's baked directly into the operating system. But the Windows reality? That is an entirely different story. The default software on a PC is bloated, it's slow to load, and notoriously prone to driver conflicts. You're basically forcing a square peg into a round hole.
Section 1. What is 3uTools, the Windows alternative?
This brings us to 3uTools, specifically version 3.26.007. It was built from the ground up to fix this exact structural gap, bypassing that legacy architecture entirely. It's a totally free, incredibly lightweight desktop app supporting Windows 7 all the way through 11. It's localized globally across 11 languages, but the absolute biggest takeaway here, no iTunes required. It manages its very own driver stack on Windows, meaning you can ditch the default Apple software completely. Getting started is refreshingly straightforward, too. You just download the official version, run the installer, and connect your device. But a quick pro tip to make sure this works flawlessly for you, always use a genuine Apple USB cable, and if you're on a desktop, plug it directly into a rear USB port right on the motherboard. Then, just tap Trust this computer on your iPhone screen, and within seconds, the dashboard pops up.
But what if it doesn't connect instantly? We all know the absolute nightmare of digging through the Windows Device Manager just praying to find a broken USB driver. Well, 3uTools has this really clever Repair Driver button right on the dashboard. One click automatically diagnoses and resolves the most common conflicts, no manual updates, no tearing your hair out. It literally just fixes the bridge for you.
Section 2. Mastering your device data and breaking free. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights a completely new paradigm of control once you're connected. The traditional method treats your iPhone like a locked vault, right? A closed system forcing full, bulky backups. But 3uTools offers direct file access. It enables selective backups and, perhaps most importantly, true bidirectional transfers. You can literally drag and drop uncompressed 4K video directly from your PC to your phone and vice versa, with absolutely zero forced cloud syncing. Let's focus on that selective backup capability for a second, because it's a huge time saver. Instead of sitting through an hour-long mandatory backup of your entire 500-gigabyte phone just to save a few important files, you actually have a choice now. You can say, hey, I only want to back up my contacts and photos today. It makes the process exponentially faster, giving you hours of lost time back while giving you total control over exactly what gets restored later.
And this actually solves a massive real-world problem. As the source material points out, quote, the social app backup feature is particularly useful for backing up WhatsApp conversations. Standard backups notoriously struggle with third-party messaging apps, often failing or completely missing those large media attachments. 3uTools isolates this specific data and secures it independently. But you know what? Mastering your files is really just scratching the surface.
Section 3. Diagnostics and System Optimization.
So the real power of this software, the stuff tech professionals absolutely rely on, lies completely under the hood. The second you plug in, you are greeted with actionable intelligence that is intentionally hidden from standard iOS settings. We're talking exact battery cycle counts, live CPU activity, and even the hardware status of individual components. If your phone is constantly running hot or mysteriously dying at 20%, this is where that mystery is finally solved. Speaking of device performance, over time, every single iPhone accumulates what we call residual junk data. These are cached social media files, leftover app data, corrupted temporary files. The built-in garbage cleaner safely targets this specific bloat. For older iPhones especially, clearing out this digital plaque genuinely speeds up the device and can reclaim gigabytes of lost space.
Now, for the true power users out there, there's a comprehensive firmware library that lets you flash specific iOS updates directly from your desktop. But it's not all highly technical either. It's also about everyday personalization. You can create custom ringtones right from your MP3s, or rapidly rearrange your entire iPhone home screen layout using your computer mouse, which, let's be honest, is infinitely faster than jiggling tiny icons around on a glass screen.
Section 4. Privacy and Practical Impact. Local Data Control. Let's move on and see how this builds into real-world security. In an era where everything is automatically pushed to a subscription cloud service, 3uTools takes the exact opposite approach. Local data storage equals enhanced privacy. Unlike cloud-based management tools, this software keeps all your sensitive operations completely local to your Windows PC. Your backups are stored right on physical hard drives that you own and control. No personal data passes through external servers, which offers massive peace of mind.
So who actually gets the most out of stepping outside the default ecosystem? Well, practically everyone. Everyday users get reliable, headache-free transfers. Older iPhone owners get the optimization tools needed to keep their devices running smoothly. Tech pros get a centralized hub to manage multiple devices at once. And content creators get a lightning-fast way to pull massive raw media files right off their phones without any of that forced compression. But there is one incredible bonus feature that literally blew me away. Genuine device verification. By reading the hardware serial numbers deep within the device, 3uTools cross-references them to tell you if the internal components are genuine Apple parts. If you are buying a used or refurbished iPhone, plugging it into this software first is an absolute game-changer. It instantly reveals if the screen, the battery, or the cameras are cheap, third-party knockoffs.
So the crucial point is this. It brings us to a really provocative question. How much control do you actually have over the devices you paid for? For a decade, millions of us assumed the closed-off, frustrating default software was just the rule of law. But by utilizing tools that speak directly to the hardware, you reclaim your data, you protect your privacy, and you extend the life of your device. It challenges us to rethink our reliance on the walled garden. So what has been your absolute biggest frustration managing your phone on a PC? Let us know in the comments and keep exploring the tech that puts the power back in your hands.